Hello and welcome back to another video. We got there eventually. As some of you may be aware, I have had COVID, hence why there's been no content coming. I got 90% of the way through making a video, and then I got ill and I just haven't had the energy or get up and go to do it. I've done my 10 days now. I'm still not feeling great. I'm feeling really washed out and just no energy. Just really crappy, really. I mean, I'll just do a little quick bit on this, just for anyone that may be interested. Just going to share my experience of COVID and what it was like. For me personally, the actual COVID infection wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't horrific. It was just one night of like hot sweats and shivering, and then sort of just feeling really weak and run down and out of breath, and not being able to do much. The main issue for me personally was the mental side of it. I'm very sort of active, I guess. I didn't really realise how active I was until I sort of had that taken away.
I'm a peacock! You gotta let me fly!
So I was sort of struggling through the days, like mentally, just to sort of keep sane, not being allowed out, being stuck in, not having really anything to do, and not even having the energy to do anything if I did want to. So that's sort of that's been the hardest bit for me. So I'm actually here today at work, not doing anything. I'm just doing invoices to try and claw some money back in, because it's been 10 days with, well, not full 10 days because Dan was in a day doing some work, but yeah. So it's been a not fun 10 days. So anyway, on to the video. This video's a little bit of a mashup of different things that have been happening around the workshop, and that's why it's called What's Going On in the Workshop. So yeah, just a little filler in here. So yeah, on with the video. So quick little update. If you're one of the watchers or subscribers from, let me just turn this down a sec, from back at the start when I first got the R8 and I was going through the problems, one of the issues was the aircon doesn't work. So it's never worked. It's nearly 0 degrees in temperature and the aircon's decided to work. So at a time when you really don't need aircon, we've got aircon.
So we've got a bit of a mashup going on here. This is a video we're going to dub What's Going On in the Workshop, with an S3 update as well. We've got some bits that we've done on the S3. But yeah, a couple of jobs we've got paid work. So thought I'd give you a little insight into what we do here and show you some paid work for a change rather than just my stuff. So yeah, I'll apologise now if it's a little bit erratic. I'll try and, I've done loads of these clips, so I'm going to try and mash them all together now and try and make something watchable. So enjoy the video.
This is a customer's S5. It's in today for a Walnut Blast. Basically, it's running really rough. It's got errors for the swirl flaps, the flap motors. These little bad boys here. So it's got errors for those, not working. Could be a vacuum issue, split vacuum. Could be the solenoid, the control valve, which I'm pretty sure sits underneath here, right down in the V. But what we're going to do, we're going to walnut blast it. It's an 125,000. It's never had a walnut blast, so we're going to walnut blast it, deflap it, and yeah. So let's crack on. Right, so slight revision on these. Apparently, these are mechanical, and the reason why these swirl flaps aren't working is they're detached. So that's why they're not working.
Usually they're vacuum operated. Well, on the RS4, my B7 RS4, they were vacuum operated. But these are mechanical, it's fallen off. I guess that goes sort of like there-ish. Something to do with that. But regardless, it needs a Walnut Blast anyway. Perhaps we'll look at repairing that rather than removing and deflapping them. Aye. Right, looks like his crankcase breather might be blown as well. There's quite a lot of oil residue on there. He hasn't mentioned anything about smoking, but yeah, that's pretty sure that's leaking. We can take a look at that anyway while it's all off. This actually looks like, we're just looking at this, and it looks like it's going to be a hell of a lot easier than the RS's, because it's a slightly different intake manifold, and your breather, crankcase breather's back here rather than attached to the intake manifold. So it looks like just the fuel lines, the throttle body, and then should be out. So hopefully this won't take us too long. Right, so the manifold's off, and yeah, they're pretty bad. Look at that massive chunk of carbon there on the end of that valve. I mean, these aren't terrible. They're not terrible, but yeah, they're gonna need doing. That's it. We stripped the manifold anyway to sort the swell flaps out. So normally, on the RS4, there's a little vacuum solenoid here with all vacuum lines, but like I say, this one turns out that it's actually mechanically operated instead. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna get on and blast those ports out. Right, so this is the setup for the Walnut Blast. This machine here provides the walnut, so this is for pressurized canister, shoots walnut out of here into the ports. And then this bad boy, which is obviously, this is, sorry, this is also a blaster, but we use it as a hoover. Because it's not a pressurized unit, it only comes out of the pressure that the compressor's providing. Whereas this can charge up to 8 bar in there and fire it out. And it, yeah, it just does a much better job. So yeah, that's it. So it's loaded up with walnut and we're ready to go. Right, so this is after. So no more carbon, nice shiny valves. We're just going to clean up the little bit of excess now with some brake cleaner and then blow it all out with the airline, and it's good to go. Okay, so here we have a Gen 1 RX-7 seat. We've got a pair of them. This one's had to have some repairs done. It's actually split. I cannot sew, so we're having that done elsewhere. There's the back of it. So we're going to concentrate on doing this one today. So all this needs is this sorting out where someone's attempted to repair a hole. So we're going to repair that properly. And then we're going to basically recolor and refinish the whole seat and make it look like brand new again. So yeah, let's get on with it. So that's the whole seat flatted down now with 320. We've just got to deal with this. This is someone else's repair. It's not particularly nice. We're going to see what we can make of it and just pop a little bit of leather filler and just try and bridge the edge a little bit, and then maybe try and put a bit of leather pattern back in it. But it's very difficult to do so, but it'll look better than it did. So we're just going to now do a little bit of filler, work on that bit, and then we're going to wipe the whole seat down with some TFR, which is the stuff we use to clean the S3 interior, which is not supposed to be used for cleaning leather. It's meant for cleaning the outside of cars. It's traffic film remover, it's acidic. But yeah, like I say, we're painting. What we want to do is remove as many contaminants as possible. And yeah, basically the TFR will do that. It will strip it all back. We'll wipe it with degreaser, and then we'll start applying the colour before then doing the top coat. So yeah, we're going to get on now. We're going to fill this and wipe the seat down. Just a little skim of this filler. This is called heavy filler, but it's not heavy at all. Not compared to car body filler. This stuff takes a good 20 minutes to go off with a heat gun on it, but it stays kind of rubbery. So basically it moves with the leather. It's a special type of filler for leather, or fake leather in this case, because this isn't real. Yeah, so we're going to heat this now for a good 20 minutes, and then we'll come back to it, give it a little flat down, and hopefully it's more uniform. We've got rid of these dips around the outside. Just try and make it look a bit flatter. It's never going to look perfect, but it can look better than it did. Okay, so it's now filled. We're just going to dust on a little bit of colour to cover the filler. We're not going to paint the whole seat because we want to retain the original sort of colour in. We're going to sort of blend this in with a bit of black. So yeah, let's get on with that. There's a slight change of plan here. I found a colour. It's a Jaguar colour called Jaguar Charcoal. It's a very, very close match for this. So what we're going to do, normally wouldn't do this because blending, you've got to blend these paints because they're nowhere near as close as car paints are, exterior paints. So I'm going to mask off here, and I'm going to blow in this bolster here. The reason for that is that we don't want to lose the perforation. So you can actually see here, the perforation I think at one point was red. It's faded in the sun, which is fine because it's part of the age of the vehicle. So that's fine, but what we don't want to do is paint it all black and lose it entirely. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to wait for this to go off a little bit longer. And there's a little nick just there that we just spotted. Just going to blow that in there, and then yeah, then go over it with the top coat. Right, so that's the, yeah, it's better, but it's not great. It's going to look much better than that once it's actually finished, but it's the best we can do really. It's a bit of a mess. Yeah, so we're just going to put the top coat on now, and then you'll see as it dries, this sort of finish restore to what, you know, they would have originally looked like. Okay, so here it is, the finished article. Looking tidy. Yeah, I mean, they after this is done, after this process is done, they look brand new. I've actually been accused on Facebook before of retrimming, which would cost way more than this. So they were accusing me of retrimming the seat and then passing it off as if I painted it. So I would retrim it for the customer and charge them a quarter of what it would cost to retrim it. Anyway, yeah, a bit of a laugh, but yeah, so this is how they look, and that's it. That's one seat done. Like I say, we can't do that one yet because we're still waiting for it to be stitched up, but at least we've got one done, one down, one to go. I just want to take a moment to say a big thanks to today's sponsor, Charles Trent Limited. Charles Trent are one of the leading automotive recyclers in the UK, with over 90 years of experience and collecting over 50,000 vehicles a year. Do you have a scrap car you don't know what to do with? An MOT failure, damaged or faulty vehicle? Jump onto the Trent's website and get a free quote today. All you need is your vehicle registration number and your postcode, and it's easy as that. Trent's offer a fast and professional collection service with the best prices paid for your unwanted cars. Okay, so we're sort of done for the day-ish doing work, paid work, so I've got to sort this out. I've had enough of this. I've absolutely had enough of looking at this. It's hideous, absolutely hideous. So I'm going to blow in the quarter, just the quarter at the moment. I am going to do the door as well, but because it's the same batch of paint, I can go edge to edge and then I can continue on. I don't have to do it all in one hit, as long as I'm mixing it the same, spraying it the same, which I do anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna actually show you now. I'm gonna sand this horrible mess here, and you're gonna see all the low spots appear on it, where all this filler is. Check out the peel in this panel. There's like, oh man. Look at the state of it. It's got to be a DIY job. No one surely would charge for something like this. It's horrendous. Oh. Right, so there it is. Poking through already. The light sand with 180, it's poking through. I'm going to keep going until this ridge here is flat. There's a real ridge there. And see what happens. We might have to, well, we probably will have to prime it again, but yeah, we'll see. Right, so 5 minutes with some 180 and a block. It's now how it should have been. I mean, the tiniest little bit of extra time spent on it, and it would have been fine. Well, it wouldn't be fine because the finish is terrible as well. It's not just a filler. Yeah, so that's that. So going to go over that with 320. And we're going to 600 the whole panel, and then start getting ready to put some colour on it. Well, primer first, then colour. So we've got an issue. Whatever Mickey Mouse paint has been used on this car before is reacting with the primer. It's a solvent-based primer. So we got this. I haven't used this in years, absolutely years, because normally we don't have situations like this because people use proper paint to paint cars. So yeah, this is basically an isolator. So it goes on first, then you put your primer on top of that, and it basically seals any reactions in. So we're gonna have to go over it with this first before we can prime it, before we can then sand it, before we can put the colour on and the lacquer on. Bit of a mess. Right, so we're isolated. We'll start priming again now. So it's just a quick drying isolator. It's not water-based, it's not solvent, it's somewhere in between. It's some weird thing that I say hardly ever use, but that is now isolated, so I can go over the top of that with primer now and it will not react. Okay, so it's in primer, it's ready to go. This has been, again, such a slog, especially when you get issues like this. I mean, this is the thing. You've got to be, when you paint, you've got to be able to know how to deal with stuff like this. Like if you don't know how to deal with it, it's just going to be a nightmare. And that comes through experience. So it's quite easy, sort of. I mean, the easiest bit of painting is spraying. Let's say that. It's not easy, but it's the easiest bit. And then it's like, you know, the masking, the body, the actual shaping of the filler and stuff and dents. That's the hard bit. And obviously the other hard bit, like I say, is learning or knowing how to deal with issues, like when it reacts, what do you do with it? How do you get around it? But yeah, luckily I know what I'm doing. So it's ready for paint. Quarter panel finished. So that's all flatted and polished now. Looking pristine. No more horrible patchy clouds. No more chunks of filler poking through. Haven't done the door yet. I've polished it, just because I haven't got time to do a door at the moment. But just come along to the wing, and the wing needs doing as well. The thing is, with paint, I mean, I don't have a booth. I've never had a booth. I've always painted without a booth, and I mean, obviously the finish comes out better than this to start with, but you can paint without a booth. You've just got to be prepared afterwards. If you get something like this happen, where there's bits in it, you've got to flat it all back. You've got to flat it all back and polish it. I mean, you can make a car look good without using a booth. I mean, like I say, I do not use a booth, and I could still get panels like that. It just, you know, there's little bits of dust that are gonna land in it. But as long as you spend the time afterwards, just flatten it back. I mean, it makes for a better finish anyway. I think, to be honest, flattening and polishing a panel, you get it better looking than if it was shot in a booth and they just shoved it out the door. Because you're smoothing the orange peel out, you're making sure everything's uniform, you get a lovely, lovely glass look finish on it. I say all of this has been done, all these panels here have all been done without a booth. But, like I say, if you don't, you're gonna paint something without a booth and then leave it like that. I mean, there's a dent there as well. Look. Dent there, there's something else there as well. Something there. Look. The previous owner of this car did actually say to me when I bought it, he contacted me and he said, "Oh, you're gonna respray it?" And I was like, no, I'm not gonna respray it, I can't be asked. Well, it's ended up as a respray. I think the only things that are not gonna be painted are the roof, maybe this wing, the bonnet. I mean, I might even have to paint the bonnet, and the front bumper definitely needs doing. But, oh yeah, it's, at least it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be perfect by the time I'm finished with it, but I would have rather not have painted the whole car. Okay, so I'm just gonna see what we can do with this bonnet for the minute, just to make it a bit better. I think I might just get another one. It's got a dent there, look. Rust across the front. And swirls for days. So, I don't know, just make it a bit better and I can decide what I'm gonna do with it later on. I don't think I'm gonna bother painting it. I mean, there's a ripple here as well. You can see something there. It's the problem with silver, any slight dent and it will literally scream at you because of the way the metallics are reflecting. So, yeah, a few dents in that, pretty manky. I wonder if we can get a carbon fibre bonnet. That'd be interesting.
The next day.
Right, I've got probably 2 hours before the next job comes in. So I'm gonna get this on the ramp and I'm gonna sort this bumper out. Because look at the state of that. I always say that, look at the state of it. This car is a right mess. I mean, it's been maintained, like I say, it's been maintained mechanically perfectly, but the guy that owned it, obviously, like I say, he bought it and it was a pile of crap. He's been sort of trying to make it good again. He's spent loads of money mechanically on it and then just basically said, look, I couldn't afford to spend any more money on it. It cost me a fortune to repair it mechanically. So obviously the bodywork's been neglected a little bit. But yeah, we're putting that right now. So I'm gonna give this bumper a nice sand down and a fresh lick of paint. Like I say, the bonnet's looking reasonable now. It's passable. It's not by any means up to my standards, but you know, it's looking, the whole car's looking pretty good now. But yeah, it just needs that bumper sorting out. I've already polished the headlights. Yeah, still waiting on the wing mirror. But yeah, we're gonna do that now and hopefully, it's not gonna be it, is it?
still got to paint that bloody wing over there. So I've still got to paint this wing, and I've still got to paint that door, but they could probably wait. I mean, it's half acceptable, that wing, but we'll see. All right, so now this is in the air. You can sort of see the extent of the damage to the bumper. There's a scuff there, there's like lacquer peel here, massive chunk of lacquer peel here. All just peppered, scratched. This side's not too bad actually. But yeah, I get all of that out. Smooth the bumper back with some 800 and then go over the top of it. Make it look good as new. But yeah, I reckon these should sand out. Might, you know, you can shape the plastic. Might have to put a little bit of filler in there. I think I'm going to leave the holes for the splitter, put the splitter back on. I will refurbish the splitter before I refit it. But yeah, not too bad. So I'm going to get on now. I'm going to sand all this down. Okay, prepped and masked, ready to go. So we're going to prime this now and hope to God this doesn't react. It doesn't look like the same paint as what was used on the quarter panel. So fingers crossed, I'm going to prime this now. It's not going to react, and we can put the colour on and get the lacquer on, because I'm about an hour in. We've got an hour to finish it. Okay, so she's ready to rock and roll. All ready for the paint. I'll do a little time lapse for you on this one, because it's probably going to be a little bit boring just watching me cut and then cut and then cut. So do a little time lapse here so you can see the paint going on. That's always satisfying. And the paint is on. Probably said this before, but I just love the way water-based sits. Just so nice and smooth. And it makes putting the lacquer on way easier as well. I always find like going over water-based with the clear coat, you find that it just lays so much smoother and you get less orange peel in it. But yeah, it's kind of weird, this paint, because it kind of looks like chromey before you put the top coat on, the clear coat. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the clear coat on now, and then we're done. Okay, so I've got the car up in the air just to keep it away from any dust that may be on the floor. We don't want any of that going in there, so it means more work afterwards. So yeah, clear coat's all done now. It's looking pretty good. It's come out all right. So I've got to wait for that to dry now, so I won't even be able to polish that until tomorrow now. But yeah, looking pretty good. There she is, finished article. So it's all polished up now, finished. Looking lovely. Brand new number plate on there, which unfortunately says Halfords on it. They never used to do that. It used to be like a watermark. So yeah, just a couple more little bits to do. Got a little, well, we've got a touch in. I've actually run out of paint to the point where I haven't even got enough to do any touch-ups. I use the last bit, finishing off the bumper. So obviously I took the splitter off as well. So that's all been sanded down a bit. It was ruined basically. So I've just sanded it down and give it a lick of black, matte black paint, which has tidied it up enough for the minute. I will deal with that later. But yeah, it's I think it's pretty much there now. Pretty much there.
It's Saturday. I'm gonna go out on the R8 today. It's filthy. So I've come down to the workshop to wash it. It's like 60-mile-an-hour winds outside. It's absolutely blowing a gale. So we are gonna wash the R8 in the workshop. So it's just gonna be like you're watching an Ammo NYC video. We've got some detailing products from a company called Ace Detailing. They're not trading yet, so they're still in sort of the production sort of stage of all their chemicals and getting all the legal bits sorted. But we've got some products to test So we got a shampoo, a detailer and a wax. So we're going to test those out and see what they're like. So let's get on and make the workshop all wet then.
Okay, so this one's the detailer. So no labels, no nothing yet. They haven't got any of that sorted. But so this stuff is absolutely brilliant for like, well, detailing, quick detailing. So you've got a slightly dirty car, a bit of dust on it. This stuff works brilliantly. It sort of encapsulates all the dust, and you use it kind of, you rub it on with one cloth, it sort of leaves it a bit cloudy, and then you buff it off. It's kind of like doing a wax on it, but it cleans it. It smells at the moment, I think it smells, it's a mixture between orange and lime, which smells quite nice, but they're still working on the scents on it at the moment. So I'm not actually sure if you're supposed to use it like this, but I'm gonna spray all of this dirt here and all around the bottoms of the doors with this detailer, just to see if it helps remove any of this dirt here, kind of like a pre-wash. So we're just gonna get on now and spray some of that on and see what happens. Okay, so the pre-wash is now soaking, and what we've got here is the shampoo. So this one has got a label. Colours are going to change, I think they said on this. So yeah, it's 1 to 200 mix. So yeah, I've already put some in the bucket here. So we're just going to spray a bit more the pre-wash on, give it a little rinse, and then start washing it with the sponge. Time for the wheels. This is nothing to do with Ace Detailing. This is something I bought on Amazon. Dragon's Blood, just for cleaning wheels. It absolutely stinks of rotten eggs. Stinks of like pure sulfur. But yeah, it cleans the wheels really well. And yeah, just got to put up with the stink. So we're gonna get this on now. I'm just gonna clean the wheels and we're gonna dry the whole car off. Okay, so now we're relatively dry. We're going to spray it again with the detailing spray, just to prevent any water spots. Just a light coating over it, and it just helps anywhere where there's water stains or anything like that, gets them all out. So I'll show you what we're going to use to go over this in a sec. So here we have a drying finishing, more of a finishing, but it does dry. It doesn't hold that much water. It's not really designed to do that. It's more of a finishing towel, but if you get the car relatively dry already and spray a bit of detail on it, this thing is awesome. So we'll go over it with this one. We're gonna remove the detailing spray in the water, and then we're gonna get a fresh one and then buff it all over, and it will be perfecto. Right, let's crack on.
Towel's pretty much dry, car's pretty much dry. I mean, it holds so much water, this, for what it is, a little cloth. So now we're just going to go around, we're going to buff off all the hazing from the detailing spray. A nice fresh one.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the video. Sorry it's been so long. Like I say, there were good reason for that. I have got some R8 news actually. Finally got some R8 news. It looks like the new wheels are going to be here next week. So today is, what are we on? I don't even know what day it is. It's Friday. I've forgotten what day it is. Friday today. So hopefully, fingers crossed, by like mid next week, we're going to have the new wheels. We're going to get them on the car. We're going to do an R8 video because I've sort of been missing filming it, to be honest. I've been driving it still, but I've just been sort of missing filming it. Also, the supercharger. The supercharger is landing in the UK on the 15th of December. That's not to say I'm going to get it on the 15th of December because customs is a joke at the moment. These wheels have been sat at customs for a good, got to be 7 weeks, 6-7 weeks. So the charger is coming with a private courier company, like not like UPS or DPD. It's a private company. So hopefully there'll be more sort of dedicated to moving it through rather than just going, oh well, it's customs, not a problem anymore. So yeah, fingers crossed. I'll just keep you updated on that. And also, before I forget, the spoiler. I said I was going to give away the spoiler, and I'm going to give away the spoiler because I'm sick of looking at it. If you want the spoiler, this is the easiest way to do it. If you want this spoiler, stick something in the comment. Actually, let's something specific in the comments. Say, gimme the spoiler, or give me the spoiler, doesn't matter. And what I'll do is everyone that types that, I will take your names down and then I'll do like a little draw. I'll pick a name out and then I will send you the coolest spoiler ever made that's been on a famous YouTube car for free. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, yeah, and help the videos grow. The subscribers have slowed down a little bit now, so let's get them rolling again, and I'll see you in the next one.
'Cause maybe it's not there when the lights are on.